Greetings, beautiful souls, and welcome to the House of Healing. I am your host, Lady Spellbreaker, and today we have special guests with us, Julie Sherwood of Your Best Hopes and Wellness, and Maria Schumacher
Hey,
of Maria's Daily Charts. Thank you so much for joining us.
hello, hello, hello.
Hi,
Thanks for having us.
I did it. Coming to you live from work.
We're glad you made it.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
good.
Life happens, so we just go with the flow. That's what we do.
Is that called Neptune and Pisces hitting a little conversation with Saturn, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Or just, my life every day because Neptune can join Moon.
If you haven't guessed, we're here to talk about stars. Planet.
Astrology.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, we are. And so these two I want to introduce. These two have really been an amazing duo of SiStars that have been personal guides through all these transits through a Uranus half return and now my half nodal return. So I am very grateful to have you both here. And we have some viewers already here. Desiree's here, Lori is here, and my other channel member, the Stock Explorer, is here so far. So
Hello.
Sweet.
we're all excited. And I'm going to get right into this. You guys ready?
Yes.
I'm holding on. I'm on the roller coaster. Let's go.
So what I'll do is I'll just put my question out there, and then one of you can answer, and then the other. So you can both give your whatever.
I'll take
Sure.
astrology for 200, please.
All right. Sounds great. So how did this begin? How did you first find your way to astrology?
Well, astrology in general or the crazy 13 sign live sky stuff that we practice now?
Astrology in general, because the next question is how did you get to the 13?
So this is a fun question. Can I go ahead and answer? Because I
Yeah.
have a very fun answer for this. So there's little Maria, and it's probably 1971, 1972, right? And I have a grandpa that I'm very close to, Grandpa Schumacher, right? The sun just rose and set right off of his head, and mutually. And one of the things we would do in the evening sometimes is go out and look at the stars. And he would point out, now you see those stars there, and you see those stars there. So it was my grandpa who taught me how to look up and see patterns in the stars and told me all about what constellations were and taught me how to find north without a compass. Just know where north is and that the sun rises in the east and all of that stuff. So, as I was growing up, I had this recurring dream where there was, I called it the light parade, where in my dream I'd get up and I'd kneel on my bed and I'd look out of the window and back of my bed and I'd see this parade of star animals circling the sky. So again, little Maria didn't know what a zodiac was, but I saw it in a recurring dream. Had this dream for years as a kid. And here's Julie going, yet another Maria dream. Oh my God. And
Where did you say that Neptune and Moon were? Just say.
so, yeah. Now, fast forward to college, 1990 ish. And I started meeting people who called themselves astrologers. Wait, that's a thing? So, that is how I got into astrology. Julie, how'd you get into astrology as little Julie?
nowhere near as profoundly as you. But it's funny because this just illustrates the differences that come through our charts, right? So I'm very, very Mercurian, as we will, I'm sure, explore later. But so for me, it was all about give me the info, give me the data, give me the info, give me the data, like all those little personality tests and, you are this, you are that, or the MMPI and the EFTJ and all of that stuff, all those things. And so I looked at it from more that perspective. And I found several years later that I'd had somebody do a mini reading of my chart from the tropical perspective, and I found that piece of paper probably about 5-6 years ago. So I was like, oh, wow, interesting, because now I know the sky. And moving to southern Arizona, where we actually get to see the sky more often than not, and I live close to an observatory, so we have low light pollution laws. Yeah. So not as profound, and I certainly don't have the same dream recall as my Neptune Moon Libra friend does, but
Y'all don't understand. I call her like 3 times a week with, "Oh, I had another dream."
Yes, her dream recall is insane. Anyway, so that's our story. At least for the how did you find astrology?
Okay. That was exactly what I was looking for, because they're all falls in line. So then how did you get to True Sky, the 13th sign, and why do you think Ophiuchus is so important?
Ooh.
I'm going to jump first on this one.
You do it.
So I had quite a left turn in my life about almost 10 years ago where
I'll be right back, you guys.
My partner that I had been with for 27 years and I parted ways. And so life opened up a whole bunch of new possibilities for me. So that story, who am I? And the universe in its wily ways happened to put across my YouTube algorithm, Mastering the Zodiac. So I was like, oh, what's this? So I started to learn from the posts that were the daily forecast, the weekly forecast. And at that time, Athen was doing the forecasts for Gemini, forecasts for Cancer, forecast, like it was done specific to the sign or constellation. So I was like, well, wait a minute, what's this 13 sign thing? It isn't 12 equal signs. So then the Mercurian brain started diving right in, and I took his courses. I aligned with some other courses. I mean, I went full tilt all the way down to the bottom of the well and continued learning and had readings done. And I just realized that's me, not what they're saying over here. This is me. And where I got thrown in the deep end was one of our other true sidereal astrologers, another term. It was doing some live Zooms, and some of us that were students, it was like, okay, go ahead and read a chart on live with no advance warning. So I was like, wait, what? And this person that I was going to do a reading for was one of these, bless his heart, a curmudgeonly, very experienced gentleman who had this, what are you going to tell me that I don't know? And I was like, oh, crap. So I just went for it, and I wove in some of my background in the health sector and wellness sector and all of that sort of stuff. And he goes, and it was about Jupiter. I still remember this. He goes, I never would have thought of that. So I was like, really? So from there, I kept diving in, and then I met Maria through a Zoom, one of those Zoom calls, and ever since, my Taurus moon and her Libra moon have just worked. So
it was love at first reading.
Yes. Oh, and why the 13 sign? That was the second half of your question.
Mm-hmm.
Why Ophiuchus? It's interesting to me that Ophiuchus, in making the constellational approach mathematically pretty, combined Ophiuchus and Scorpio into, one sign to make 12 an easy number to work with, etc. What's really interesting to me is not just the energy of Ophiuchus that really resonates with me, But when you look at the actual 2D replication of the constellations, what really solidly locks it in for me is the fact that Pisces and Virgo are the largest two constellations, and they are the bridges. Virgo is the bridge from individual to others, and Pisces is the bridge from others back to the divine of we are all one. And to me, that's no accident. That's what sunk it in for me 100%. So that's my alignment with the true reality of it for me, as well as, why my chart makes sense to me. But anywho.
That's pretty awesome that that chart reading worked out for you so well too.
Yeah.
All right, Maria, now you.
Oh boy. Okay, well, as for me, I blame Pluto. I totally blame Pluto. And it was when I started dating an amateur astronomer, to whom I am now married, by the way, for which I also blame Pluto. But and he pointed out to me, wait a minute, Pluto isn't in Capricorn, it's in Sagittarius. And this was back in, before COVID, when, Pluto was, everybody was saying Pluto just went into Capricorn and blah, blah, blah. Nope. Pluto was very firmly in Sagittarius. And he was like, no, serious. And he just pulled out his phone, pulled up an app where you could just hold the phone up to the sky and see the background of constellations of where things are. I mean, it was as plain as the nose on your face. It's just that we can't see Pluto with the naked eye.
Right.
So it had to be put on. I was like, is that right? And, then I started looking again. It's like, wait a minute. All these planets are in the wrong place. They're all like a month off. What the actual expletive, right? I said some words. I'm not happy. And I was embarrassed and sort of like, because it made you look like an intellectual idiot. Like you're practicing this. See, this is why we all poo-poo astrology. Essentially what he said. So this is why astrology is not taken seriously, because it doesn't know where the stars are.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no counter. He was completely 100% right. So then, after I, got over the period, I'm not doing this anymore, this is all stupid, for a couple of years, the call was still there. And so, well, I mean, you know how it is. You find it out and then you're like, they lied to me all this time and I was made to look stupid. I'm going to go eat worms. So after I ate my worms, I decided, you know what? The call is still there. So I started searching for true to the sky astrology. And I stumbled upon Athen Chimenti and the Mastering the Zodiac site, which is probably the best one out there at the time. Like, we're talking, 2017, 2016.
Yeah, same here.
That. And I'm reading this going, 13 sign. Ooh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. The 13 drew me because it allows for the continuation of the cycle, right? In a musical scale has 12 notes, but the end of it is also the beginning of the next scale. So that C is both the 1 and the 13. You see? And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then I had a reading with him and discovered that my son was in Ophiuchus. A what? Who? Never heard of it. And I thought I knew, mythology. right? I had, quite a background in history. Things, Ophiuchus, what the hell's that? Sounds like a sneeze. But so I went and looked at, so but honestly, the more I opened up to it, the more my chart just blossomed, right? It's like,
Mhm.
oh my God, this is so much more me. And the freedom of not having to try to fit myself into a frame of Sagittarius sun, Scorpio moon, where everything was just wrong. Everything was just a little wrong. Grain of truth, but wrong.
Mhm.
When I found 13 Sign True Sidereal, it all clicked in. And then eventually, after having found Athen, then I found Ike. And then through Ike, I found Julie. And Ike he just had a way of teaching astrology that everything clicked into place. So once I got the stars aligned in the right place, once I got the heavens lined up, then I found a teacher who made the whole language of astrology just make sense. And and it changed my life. And then I met Majujubee, and yeah, it was love at first reading, and we've been at it ever since.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I get it with having to embrace that new chart. Even at first, when we're angry about it and we're like, this is stupid. Because I have a Taurus tattoo on my foot. So when I found out I was an Aries, you better believe I went to ram my head into the wall. I was
We
not
changed
an
this into a bull. Yeah.
Yeah, but where's your Venus?
My Venus is in Taurus, so I will rock that.
There you are.
Like,
So
my
just have a
life is
little Venus.
awesome.
Just
And
have a little
my
Venus.
progressed Venus is moving back in Taurus
Yeah.
soon on 4/11. Actually, that's my birthday present. 4/24
So
is.
just put a little Venus right on that Taurus, and it's
I
all
will.
you
I'll have to
do.
get that added later.
There you go. It's
Yeah.
funny how both of you said how angry or resistant to not resistant, but I've been lied to. What's funny is I did not have that response at all. Not at all. It was like, this makes sense. This totally makes sense to me. And it was really interesting to have it was embraced 100% right away.
Wow.
Right away. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I will add that my son is on the last couple degrees of Gemini, because Cancer, and in tropical, I would be a Cancer sun. So there is still that energy of the Cancerian, whiff, if you will, that does play into how my chart expresses itself. But Gemini midheaven, Gemini sun, Gemini north node, Virgo ascending. Yeah.
But yeah, you would have to analyze that, and then it would click with all that Gemini.
Well, and you can assimilate the change really quickly too.
Yes. Yeah.
My Mercury in Sagittarius likes to think it knows it all, and when it finds out it doesn't, it throws an unholy temper tantrum.
Yeah, that's probably how my Aries sun can be. And back then, when I first heard about it in a NASA was wrong thing, there's a 13th zodiac sign. It was on a website. I didn't know anything about sky viewing. There were no smartphones, so we could not point anything up at the sky.
Right.
And back
Yep.
then, I was like, whatever they're talking about, I'm not an Aries. Click, I'm done. And I just walked away from it. I didn't even look any further then. And then now it's just like, I said, all right, this is all a bunch of lies. And that's
Yep.
when I found Athen back in 2019, this summer.
Right? Thank God for him.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is even without the phone or any other app, I've been able, because again, we have such beautiful skies here that are not interrupted by all the light noise. Right now, the best illustration of this that you can see with the naked eye is Jupiter and Gemini. So all the tropical people are Jupiter and Cancer, Jupiter and Cancer, Jupiter and Cancer. So I'm telling the people that I'm gently introducing to the concept of the sky, I said, go outside about 8:30 at night, our time. I'm in southern Arizona, for those who are listening. and look up at the sky, and you'll see just about above your head this really bright star. And right next to it are two little stars, and they're sitting about like this. And these two little stars right here, those are the twin stars, Pollux and Castor, of Gemini.
Yeah.
So
You,
with
you
your naked
cannot
eye,
miss it. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful, thank you, Divine One, of giving us this beautiful illustration to show the naked eye what's actually in the sky.
Mhm.
I love it. And then when the moon goes over too, it's like, when the moon was just recently in Gemini, I'm like, look,
Mhm.
Gemini. Yes, yes. So,
That is why I think it's very important that we know, like, this is even, maybe it's not really on my list, but this is another question, and it's about working with energy. So you think knowing the real placement of things makes it so important, because then we know what energy we're working with. If we said right now, tropical is saying this is a rare instance where tropical is saying this eclipse is in Aquarius, but it's at the other end.
yep,
It's at the Pisces end, not the Capricorn side. And so this is still a difference, because that's an Capricornius, I call it.
I love that.
And then we've got Pisces Aries, which is, I don't know how to shorten that one up. I'll think about it later. But the Pisces air, the Pisces
Pisces?
Aquarius, it's Pisces Aquarius.
Or
Pisces
Pisces.
Aquarius. So it's a whole still different energy of water, earth, or water and air versus earth and air.
Right, right. And it is interesting that it is, like you said, one of those rare circumstances. But one of the things that I share with people that are just learning about this is the whole idea, and Maria, you and I have talked about this on some of our holistic health happy hours, is this idea that we're moving from a divine masculine emphasis to bringing the divine feminine back into balance. And this whole thing with astrology illustrates this beautifully in the fact that when we had the advent of the Roman Empire increasing its influence, everything started to shift to mathematical, formulaic, scientific, divinely masculine energy. And so that dismissed the intuitive, feminine, internalized energy that was brought down through the sky.
That's right.
But yet it did have its value in that it preserved the archetypal information when the materialistic scientific approach was trying to dismiss the cosmic energy. So there is a beauty in that, but now it's time that we have the tools in our scientific materialistic world, hence these things, the computer programs, to get back to the sky.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we got 3 Friday the 13th this year.
Yes,
Did
we
you guys
do.
know that?
Yes.
3?
3.
I thought we had just 2. What's the
No, we
third?
got February, March, and November.
Oh,
The month of Hecate, we got a Friday the 13th. What about that?
Gotta love
We
that.
kick off the Day of the Dead, and then we got a Friday the 13th. So let's
I like
do that.
it. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's coming, my friends. All right, so she's here. She has risen. So next question is, what do you do now, and what are your offerings? So my 2 questions here are, what does astrology look like in your life today? And I'll go with that one first. And the next question is, how do you use it personally and professionally? And then what services do you offer people who want to work with you? And I do have your links being dropped. Oh, shoot. I need to put a space between that one. I'll do that while you guys are answering. I've got your links for your websites. I've got your Patreon dropping. Maria, goodness sakes. Patreon is dropping. So, and it's also, I'll include all the links down in the description box. So you guys will be able to get those afterwards as well. I'm going to go edit that while you guys start sharing.
Go for it, Ms.
Let me go for this one. Astrology in my daily life is, I write a daily astrology blog now. So astrology is tied up in my life every day, every day. And in fact, so much of my being is just moving into the astrology world. It really is amazing how much I've been able to integrate or has integrated itself just into my life very easily. Um, like I said, I write a daily astrology blog on Facebook. It appears on two different pages, one called Radical Astrology. Oh, and I need to plug in my computer. So,
And Cosmic Reflections.
Yes, and
Another
Cosmic
Facebook page that Maria will post her dailies on. This is what we do. We can just seamlessly, do our thing. And what's really nice is, and I'm going to be just shameless and support my dear, dear soul sister here. Although Maria does post these dailies in those two Facebook groups free of charge, there is an opportunity to buy her a little cup of coffee or a little sip of wine through her Patreon subscription. And then you can get it in your email. You can, see it that way if you're not in the Facebook group or if you're not aligned with Facebook. And I highly recommend. I mean, Maria's got such a beautiful way of telling a story of the sky. It's not that just scientific, formulaic, this is at a right angle to that. Maria brings the story to life. and just beautifully illustrated is your dear name for Uranus?
Dave.
Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave.
That weird relative that wears the funky clothes and doesn't quite mesh with the rest of the family. And you all know one of those hello. And Big Poppy is Jupiter. So
sorry about that.
It's all good. So finish what you were saying about your offerings, and I just kind of seamlessly plugged right in there for you.
Oh, thank you.
So what we do.
Yeah. All right. Whew. So daily blog, which I started out doing just as sort of a public service thing because not everyone had access to the software, and not everyone still does. It's expensive and rare, and not a lot of companies put out software that calculates true sidereal 13 sign. Almost everything is still geared to tropical. So anyway, I'm just going to post a chart daily, help out people who don't have the software, and then comment and just see what happens. And it's my way of tuning in to the stars. So that has, again, led me to be able to I don't know about realign, but align with the energies as they are. There's no more, because it was one thing that had bothered me, that trying to work with tropical all of those years, there was always an internal like, this isn't quite fitting. It isn't quite matching up. Whereas now I'm not trying to, make a square peg fit in a round hole while applying outdated
That's exactly the words I was thinking of.
Yeah. While applying outdated descriptions. And some we are finding, and I'll go out on a limb here, that over time we might even leave behind some of the old energy assignments and some of the old mythology that we find that, the old way of describing Jupiter just doesn't do it anymore. The old way of describing Mars just isn't quite complete anymore. Again, kudos to the system for keeping the knowledge of aspects and angles and the language of astrology alive. But as we realign to the heavens as they are now, I think that we'll find that a lot more changes. And I am finding too that there are some very, very deep truths in astrology that were almost erased by the math of it all. The The problem with the 12 sign is that it's too mathematically precise.
Yep.
Too much math. And I think that astrologers end up falling on the mathematics and the calculations of it all when the live sky is not actually divided. You look up, you do not see 12 equally divided pi lines in the sky. That having been said, you don't see lines dividing constellations at all, or connecting stars to one another to create constellations. So that, in as much as the tropical system really forces us into that box of 12 equal signs, 30 equal degrees, the constellations are this shape, and this is exactly across from that, and that is exactly square to that. And you can do all kinds of fun, cool mathematical calculations, but to me, this astrology is better because the math works is not an argument. Is not an argument. And it's especially not an argument for telling me how you can justify saying that the alpha star of Leo is in the constellation of Virgo.
Yeah, Regulus is not in Virgo, people.
Regulus is not in Virgo. I don't care what math you use. The heart of the lion is not in Virgo. So just right there,
Yep.
admit you got a problem. And I sympathize with how embarrassing it is to have that moment of, oh shit, this is all wrong, isn't it? I sympathize because I had it.
Mhm.
Remember, I just told you that I've been there. But anyway, that's for another conversation, Julie.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting as you're talking about the evolution, re-evolution, revolution, whatever word you want to use. Well, geez, what was this new moon eclipse taking place in Aquarius?
What's with Aquarius, Julie?
Kind of fits, opening up our vision, looking at the evolution, revolution of it all. And what's interesting, and I'll go back to answer the questions that you actually asked, Heather. But this is a beautiful segue. Is the
Can you
idea?
tell we'd rather talk about the stars than ourselves?
Well, yeah. So the traditional rulers of Aquarius, what am I missing? Aquarius, Pisces, and
Saturn.
Scorpio. Scorpio. So the traditional ruler of Scorpio was Mars. Now its modern ruler is Pluto. And then we have Aquarius was traditionally Saturn. Now it's assigned Uranus. And then Pisces was Jupiter, now Neptune. Now, that's just because those three planets became visible, discoverable. So it's like, okay, well, let's put those to those constellations or signs. But as Maria so, beautifully put it, we have to be open to the idea that what we've been married to for however many years in this iteration is likely to change. We also have Saturn conjunct Neptune and Pisces to help us see that. This is the dissolution of those structures, what we've been attached to. We may very well find that there's yet another planet because we have Venus and Mercury ruling two different constellations. Maybe we're going to drop that at one point.
Yep.
So you never, so again, it's just be open and fluid to the idea that these things are fluid.
Yes.
Yes.
So using it on my own personal level, I have a writer of the daily. I can be lazy and I can go, oh, what's going on? Let's see what Maria has to say, because it makes it easy. Plus the fact that she's 2 hours or 3 hours ahead of me time-wise, so she gets it out there before I'm even alive in the morning. So that's but no, I look at it, it's really funny because I can see things that are going on. I go, what's going on in the sky? Oh, now I understand. I see what's going on. But what I like to use is the term energetic potential, because I also am very cognizant of the fact that we don't look at the sky's language and just say, yep, that's the way it is, that's the way it's going to be, and that's the way I align with it. It's No, that's the way it's showing up in the sky. And what is the energy potential for me and how I receive that energy?
Mhm.
And I think that's important because oftentimes you'll hear professional or amateur or hobbyist astrologers using absolute terms. Oh, you're a Gemini sun, so you are, you are, you are, you are, you are. And it's like, no, I have free will. And
They also have a big chart, right?
well,
Like,
there's that. I was just going to say, my Gemini sun talks to my Virgo ascending, which also talks to, my North Node, so there's nuances in the energy and the way that potential opens up and unfolds for me. So that's how I use it personally, is to understand what may be in alignment and in flow for my energy. So that's at the personal level. Then on the more professional level is one, again, Gemini midheaven, North Node sun. I got Mercury hanging out up there. I can't shut up about it. So I love sharing with people this world, opening it up. Opening it up. Have you considered it from the point of Geminis to see it from all different perspectives? Even though I know tropical is wrong, I know we use that term, I also allow space for the fact that people have been in that realm for years. So let's show
yeah.
you why I believe the energy flow of the constellational 13 sign approach is a better approach in my world. Maybe it will be for you. And so I do mini constellational readings at our local metaphysics shop. I offer professional readings online as well, or in person. But I've also married it into my wellness coaching work as a solution-focused wellness coach and root cause therapy practitioner, in that let's show you what your energy potentials are. Does that align? Does that resonate? Do you get a feel that that is, quote unquote, who you are or who you have the potential of being? Yes. What's standing in your way? Well, I don't know. I tend to self-sabotage. I tend to, or things that may be placed in your energetic signature from ancestry, past life, generational, whatever you believe. Those other modalities that I practice can help you align with that energy if that's your desire. So that's how I weave them together. So I have a life path empowerment package where I look at your chart and I do the therapeutic practitioner approach, and we bring those energies together in a way that you take out of the road those boulders. And then Marie and I work together
On a couple of offerings, and one of them is Constellational Conversations.
Yes.
Can I put that up now real quick, you guys?
Yep.
All right, here we go. You can keep talking because they should still be able to hear us.
Yes.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
Yeah, we love this. We love this because we created a container, right? We created a place where anybody who wants to learn, expand their knowledge of astrology, how it applies to them at any level. It's very much the Socratic learning method. We sit under a tree and we talk about it.
Yep.
And we love this because it's very hands-on. It's very one-on-one personalized attention. So we find that some of our students take classes other places also, and then come to us with like, okay, so in this class I heard this, what does that mean? Or how might that apply to my chart? And we love it. We love it. We just get to talk astrology to anybody at any level of knowledge is welcome. And the newbies learn from the more experienced students. The more experienced students learn from each other, and we learn from all y'all. And it's the best time of the month when these classes happen. So, yay.
I do want to make a note, Heather, in one of the links that you posted to contact Maria at Vianne, Vianne, at Venus-.
Oh, all right.
Okay, just in case somebody tries to click on it, I'm sorry, the Mercury and Gemini brain and Virgo.
Bless the Mercury. Yes.
But yes,
yeah, hold on.
I will tag off of what Maria said too, is the idea, I've got Astro 101, 102, Lesson 1. I've got all that stuff, and I've been there and I've done that. And I do enjoy that approach for those where that approach makes sense. And at the same time, the conversational, Socratic discussion, as Maria said, under the tree, under the stars, that makes a lot of sense for those who join us. And this is how we met Heather, is it makes sense because it makes it real.
Mhm.
And it makes it accessible in a way that you go, oh yeah, now I get, okay, sun on the galactic center. Okay, I learned about that in 101, 102 stuff. But with my moon in a square to that, how does that work? And it's not just reading a chart, but it's having the discussion. How is that unfolding for you? What is it showing up as for you? When the moon transits across your sun at the galactic center, how does that talk to you? Well, what do you think? So it's very much learning it in a way where it has relevance. It's not just that formula in a box.
Well, and hopefully in a way that lands too,
Yes.
because we interact one-on-one with you. We can see when something is hitting and when something is missing.
Yep.
Right? We can see when it's like I don't think you get it. Or even just like I don't get it, so I don't know how you can possibly get it. Let's you know what I mean? Let's keep going until we figure something out. But that's the beauty of a personal. So we keep it small. We keep it
Yep.
to a
No more than
limited number of people.
Mm-hmm.
And they jump in and out.
Yep.
Like and that's fine. Right? Like this month there'll be these people and maybe you'll be in it for 3 sessions and then, you've got it until another several months from now. It's like, oh, there's this concept I'm having trouble with. Can I hop in and talk about secondary progressions with you guys? And something like that. Yeah.
And we learn from each other, which it just helps us hone our skills too when we can dive in and, oh, how are you? Oh, I never thought of it that way. Because again, we're not formulaic boxes. I don't care how much everybody keeps trying to do that to us. We are not formulaic boxes. So yeah, that's Con. We have done a series of, and we've been a little lax in this, but it's just life. We go with the flow. Our holistic health happy hour, where originally we were coming on doing like a new moon, full moon kind of discussion. But we found there's so many people that are doing a beautiful job with that out there. We want to do something a little different. So we started doing the quarter moons, the first quarter waxing and waning, the first quarter, third quarter moons. Mm-hmm. And what we did is we would look at the way those moons were coming in, and then we would offer different suggestions of how you can work with that energy. Like maybe you're going to do a chakra clearing for that energy, or maybe a particular herbal exploration, or crystals, or a tarot reading, or just different esoteric, metaphysical, holistic ways to navigate this energy so that you can be in flow with it and either not fighting it or not harnessing it if it's something that's in real harmony for you. And I still will get back to that.
Yeah. Well, Julie has a very medical astrology, health practitioner related background, and I have a very esoteric,
right,
spiritual practice background.
Yep.
So I bring that angle
right
of it in. So I'm more the spirit connection to everything, and Julie is the mind body connection. So between us, we've got the whole mind body spirit thing going on, and it's kind of fun.
And just be careful, disclaimers, we don't offer professional health advice. We don't offer professional legal or medical or financial.
Or psychiatric. Nope.
These are just opportunities for you to explore those things with your own personal practitioners. Oh, hey, Dr. Jones, we heard that things are blah, 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 blah. What do you think if I were to do this? Kind of thing. So, but it's a way to have those conversations with those practitioners from an energetic perspective too.
Yes. Because when you understand your own chart, which is a blueprint of the energies that were most prevalent at the moment you were birthed. So what influences you the most? What's sort of like your go-to draw from? I mean, of course, we all have access to everything because we are unlimited
Right.
beings. We came in with proclivities toward different things. So when you understand that, and when you understand why your default reactions are what they are, it just opens up this beautiful world of possibility of self-understanding,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to move forward without why does this not work for me? Well, it's probably in your chart why it isn't working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to take a different approach, because your energetic signature does not easily do routines.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean I don't do routines well because I'm not built to do routines? Yeah, it's pretty much that simple. And until somebody points it out to you in a way that lands, you're going to go through your life thinking that you're defective,
Yep.
when the truth is you're just Libra.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I had a lovely lady in my community here in her late 70s that wanted to learn a little bit more about 13 sign, and I showed her chart and all of that. And she was definitely not a 101, 102 kind of learner. She wanted to sit down and have a story, right? So as I walked her through her story of her chart, this is a woman in her late 70s, pretty self-assured. She sat back and she goes, "Now I understand." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "All along I've been told, nope, 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 nope." And she goes, "But I kept going and going and going and going." And she goes, "So you're just telling me this is my story?" And I said, "It's your energetic potential for who you are." She goes, "Finally, it all makes sense." Late 70s. I mean, if that doesn't illustrate it, I don't know what does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway.
And yeah, those are beautiful moments. So we've created a new offering that we're really excited about, and you guys are going to be like the first to hear about it because we haven't told really anybody but each other. And we call it Cosmic Heart Circle, where we've partnered with a channeler, an energy channeler. And so every month we're going to get sort of a general energetic message from
Her guide.
from her guides. And we're going to match that up with the astrology and then give the holistic suggestions on how to work with it all.
And the beauty of it is that our channeling friend has no astrology background. She knows like this much. So there's no astrological filter that she's applying through her connection to the guides. But as we were betaing this for a while, we kept going, well, this is what's going on. Well, this is what's going on. Well, it just kept happening. So the idea is to create this opportunity for the pure energy message to come through. And as Maria said, marry it to the energy of the chart, offer what these different energetic signatures might be for that cycle. And then for those who want to go deeper, personalize it.
Right.
So we say, Heather, we're going to take your chart. Here are the 5 bullet points of this overarching energy. But the guides say for you to navigate this Aquarius partial solar eclipse, you might want to do this, this, and this because it's affecting your nodal path or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It is.
Okay, well, I just put it out there.
It's right on my south node,
Yeah.
actually.
Or how your Leo stellium might navigate the energies of this Aquarius new moon, given the guides have said you need to focus on XYZ. And then some holistic tools to navigate that. So this would be like the deep level for the membership. And again, very small, because we want people to be seen, heard, and have the ability to interact, not just
That's
be
right.
a face in the box that can't speak up, can't say anything, really hoped they had the opportunity. We want it to be that coffee table in the shop where you sit down, come in, and connect.
Yep.
Oh, exciting. I didn't know about that one. Surprise.
Well, we're still fine-tuning things and in that, how do we want to get this out there? How do we want to do this? So we're just at the point, I think we're about ready to step into the abyss, at least to start
And
with.
just launch and just
And
see what
just know,
happens. Yep.
we have to be fluid with it. Neptune, Saturn, Pisces, just saying it out loud. We just got to go with the flow of how it might structure and what the demands of those who may want to join our party.
But I mean, this is actually all based on the astrology that we see coming. That in the next, in the next year,
Yep.
in this 2026, people are going to need help.
Yep.
People are looking for guidance. They're going to want help. They're going to need to look at unconventional. They're going to need to look to other places than they have before.
Right.
Partly because those other places aren't available, or they're just, everybody and everything is different. And so the three of us have really felt that no, it's important to make ourselves available and see what happens. Somebody might need what we have.
Well, an Aquarius sun, I mean, new moon, right? And this is opening us up to the possibilities in that big way, that visionary future way. And it's really, and especially we've just had all the personal planets in this part of the chart too. This is very individualized, very individualized. Plus we just shed we're in that last little ring of the tail of the snake skin coming off.
That's it. Yeah. The as above, so below of it all. That, it seems like it's all happening out here, but it's also happening in here. Right.
Oh,
It's also happening within us, within our heads. So everything that's going on out there, we have to process.
Yep.
And the new astrology, coupled with, energetic readings and holistic knowledge, now gives us some new tools, some new modalities to deal with all of this new stuff in a new way.
Well, in the nodal path, right? The Leo South Node, the Aquarius North Node, we're being reminded that South Node familiarity of the capital S self. Who am I? How do I express myself? And we're being asked to go back to that remembering the South Node so that we can authentically show up in our collective Aquarius North Node.
But be of benefit to the collective at the same time, not just show up in the sociopathic, I am here for me and I'm the ruler of the universe kind of way.
This way.
Yes.
This way. This way. Because Aquarius is the collective, right? We have to be able to intermesh in the collective. Yep. AI. Yeah, you're right, Heather. The AI concept is, well, wait a minute. If I ascribe to everything artificial, who am I? Right?
Yes.
So I think that, and Uranus, as the modern ruler of Aquarius, is also the one that is energetically connected to big technology. And he just got that forward, Uncle Dave just got that forward momentum in Taurus, the stars of our personal values. What do we all value in that?
Right. Exactly. And yet, as Dave would tell you can't be afraid to use a tool.
Right.
AI in a way is just another hammer. As long as you don't hit your hand with it, you're probably going to be fine. Just, learn how to not hit your hand with it while you're pounding nails. So, learn how to use the tools that are available to the advantage of the collective. And that's what Dave would do. He would be like, well, try not to kill yourself.
And then Jupiter going direct in Gemini. Once Jupiter goes direct, it's expanding into that knowledge, the data of Gemini. But Jupiter asks us to find the wisdom in all of it too. Right? So it's not just collect the data. It's like, well, I've got a handful of this AI stuff. Now, where's the wisdom in all of that? And like Maria said, Uncle Dave says, grab the hammer. It's okay. But don't be pounding your hand with it or anybody else with it.
Right.
Find your own wisdom in all of it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important message for this Aquarius new moon eclipse. As we're moving, we've got until I already time traveled to 2635 on my chart to see when the sun actually enters Aquarius for the spring equinox. Because the
The
sun
age
moves
of,
forward 1 degree. So we are not in the age of Aquarius like everyone thinks. We're still very much in Pisces until 2635. So, not in our lifetime, unless you master how to live over 100 very
simultaneously.
successfully. We are going to be in the age of Pisces, which is like the birth of the healers. And we're advancing to this technological age, and people are like, oh, we're in the age of Aquarius. And I'm like, no, we're not. Like, no, we're not. The sun is still in Pisces on the spring equinox. And so, with all the technological advancement, it's really important to have balance in our lives with
Yep.
this, even especially.
So on March 21st, go
Mhm.
take your little phone or your stellarium-web.org and go see where the sun actually is in the sky. And that'll give you an idea of the fact that we are in the age of Pisces still. And that's by design. We have to finish the Piscean compassion, I am presence, all of that divine connection. If we don't remember that, then that age of Aquarius, we're going to be the fall of Atlantis all over again, the fall of Lemuria. It's say by Earth.
And that's where it comes down to authentic intelligence or artificial. Are we real? Is this our wisdom, or do we have a robot do everything that we
Yep.
actually can't rely on because they don't always tell the truth?
They don't.
And the more I'm learning about how AI is collecting all of its information, it's stealing all of everyone else's wisdom from the internet and summing it up. And then people are creating pages on Facebook. I saw that there was an eclipse right over Stonehenge in December, and I was like, have I been in such a hole that I missed an eclipse? And I'm over here typing, and I'm like, no, there was no eclipse in December. And no, there wasn't anything over Stonehenge. And this page is a whole flat out lie.
Yep.
So I have gotten really good at discerning who's writing real stuff. Maria's charts are written by her, and who's using AI to write their stuff.
Yep.
So who's being authentic intelligence and who's being artificial in this reality?
Well, I'll throw
my
one.
love, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to leave you. My work graciously gave me an hour, and I don't want to take any more than that from them. But do please continue without me. Heather, I hope this was helpful.
It was, and thank you so much for coming, Maria.
Oh my God.
Since you got
Thank
called
you for
in
having me. I'm sorry I have to go, but I love you girls, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
I love you.
Bye. I was the only other little blurb I was going to add was the whole. I'll go a little out there. Is this feeling that AI may also be a way for other intelligence to connect with us? That we have now opened our reality to the concept that the galactic beings, whatever you believe, it's all your choice, are now communicating to us in a way that's teaching us that discernment, right?
Yes.
And I think it's because we now have the technology and the knowledge to be able to have that connection. But now it's like, yeah, but who's giving us this info? Right? It's discernment is huge. And I remind people, I said, when we're looking at using AI as a creative bypass for the human creative intelligence, then to me that's sad. But if you're using it, like, remember, some of us are a little older than others, the old days of the card catalog, where you flip through to find the info, or even a Google search, and you have to siphon through all the answers. Well, AI throws it all into a pot. And as you so astutely said, Heather, you have to decide if what they threw in the pot has authenticity. You have to still do your discernment. And the other thing is, if I write a book, I send it to a publisher/editor, they're going to edit it to make the language more concise and blah, 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 right? Okay, so I can put it in AI and say, take all this information that I just created and could you create or edit it for conciseness in a spiritual tone of voice that replicates my tone? Okay, that's reasonable. But I still have to do the due diligence to go through, oh, that doesn't sound like me. No, that's not what I said, you know.
Yeah.
And I've gotten some great feedback on using a couple of the different options for editing. Oh, that's a nicer way to put that sentence. Great, I appreciate that. But it still keeps the intent of the sentence context.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Grammarly does. Like, part of the reason I'm really like iffy about all this is because when I started school at an herbal college a couple years ago, they drilled me in education on plagiarism. Like, you have to cite people's words. If you're taking people's stuff, you have to cite who said this.
Yep.
You have to cite where you got it from, or you're plagiarizing.
Yep, 100%.
And so if we're being real, then and I'm just concerned about the advancement of AI with facial replicating us. Like, someone could replicate this video right now and make a fake me and a fake you and make a video and make us say different things or whatever.
Yep.
That is concerning to me. So,
well, and again, that's that Uranus and Venus. What do we individually value? The stars of Taurus, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, but also our extrinsic values, because we're putting a lot of value in that for us as individuals. But what is it about it that is aligned with us? That's important. And it has to have a level of stability. Taurus asks for that. It can't just be this fly by night, you know? Yeah. We have to really use that discernment.
Absolutely. That's a great gift from the Holy Spirit in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, if anybody hasn't read the Bible. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
So I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I did have 2 more points on what's going on. Not really questions. We covered all the how you help people and your things you're doing. So we've got this Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which is going to be at perfection on the 20th on my chart. And then we've also got Chiron in Aries on the other side. I mean, Chiron in Aries, not Aries. Chiron is not in Aries. Chiron is in Pisces. Aries at the Aries side, but it's in Pisces. And Neptune and Saturn are on the other side. So right on these 2 sides of Pisces. And what do you think this is, like, the message collectively, if you can?
Well, we've talked a bit about the Saturn Neptune, but how I like to express it to people that ask about it. And again, energy potentials. Anything I say here, toss it out the window if it doesn't make sense. Free will. But Saturn being the energy of structure, time, authority, systems, foundations, long-term planning, discipline, responsibility, is sitting in Pisces. He ain't too happy in Pisces. Just putting that out there. You take Neptune in the home stars of Pisces as a modern ruler. And so there's that much more intensity to the energy of Neptune. It's sort of like when you're in your own house, your own space that's energetically supportive of you, your energy is stronger, right? And so Neptune's coming along and say, Saturn, you want to lay down some plans. You want this to be long-term, right? Neptune says, yeah, no, I'm going to move it over here. Well, wait a minute. I want to go over here. No, we're going to push it back over here. So there's a lot of fluidity in this Saturnian desire to create structures. It's like Saturn's in mud. So it's like you're slogging and you can't. I had so many people say to me, I feel stuck. And yeah, give it some time. So as Saturn takes 29 years to go around the whole chart, Neptune's 165, so Saturn's going to move a little faster. As this direct momentum takes hold, and Saturn gets a bit more momentum through Pisces, it's still going to be quite a while before he's in Aries. But he'll be able to move away from that intensity of Neptune. You'll start to get a little flow in creating those structures. So that's kind of how I see that energy. And also you can see collectively how these structures and systems are dissolving. I don't care what side of the fence you sit on, upside down, up, backwards, forward, doesn't matter to me. but everything is dissolving in ways that we couldn't have even imagined. Even our relationship with time. I don't know about you, but it's like we're in mid-February already. What the hell happened, right? So I think that's the part of that comes into play. So I'm letting people know, just be in flow for a while. I think right about the spring equinox up till May, that'll be where you can start planting some seeds, and then you can start getting a bit more momentum. And then when the sun moves into Aries, then you can put a little more fire behind that fire horse. He's still going to be a little pony in the yard for a while. Don't be expecting that stallion to go race out of the gate. That's kind of how I see it. Chiron Eris. Well, Eris, as you and I both know, takes 550 years around a chart. So she ain't moving too far too fast. And Chiron is about 52 years, something like that. I'm going off the top of my head on that one. Anyway, and he's the wounded healer. He's the one that helps us understand what our wounds are, what our imprints are, what we come in hypersensitive to. And collectively in the stars of Pisces, Eve, been there a long time, friends. It's a collective pain and suffering. So we've been pulling in the knowledge, the energetic knowledge of the suffering of all. And we are all experiencing it as our own. And at the same time, it's the challenge to understand what is our collective pain and what is mine. What can I have an influence on healing and what can't I? Because we tend to get interspersed or wrapped up in those dissolved boundaries of what is mine and what isn't. And then we also get into that sense of overwhelm and helplessness, right? So Chiron is reminding us, as he finishes up those last few stars of Pisces, what is yours? What can you as an individual do to help the pain and suffering of the collective? It might be something as simple as picking up the phone and calling somebody that you know has been struggling, one person. And then that person gets a little momentum, and then maybe they call somebody else, right? So looking at it from that perspective. And Eris, she's the great truth teller. She's going to slap you upside the head and show you the truth, whether you want to see it or not. And she can be a chaotic disruptor. But again, it's energy potentials. If she's creating that sense of chaos, how do you move with that chaos? Because after chaos comes order. After this chaos of the collective suffering, how do we find order once Eris shows the capital T truth of the suffering? And we're seeing it. Again, no matter which side of the moon you sit on, so to speak, we're all seeing it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So do you bite the golden apple or do you not?
Yes.
But I also think she also teaches us through the mythology, for those who don't know, and this is where you have that conversation with Michael, Uma Stellar, the mythology man. But, she threw the golden apple into a wedding amongst all these goddesses, and, she who is the prettiest gets the apple. Well, meow, meow, you get a little fight going. But the thing is, I think the message is we are all beautiful. We are all unique in our expression. We all have the opportunity to bite the golden apple. We just have to remember that within ourselves. So that's how I see it.
Yes. I heard today, actually, I think in Radical Astrology, there was an Eris post about Eris being the one that shatters our ego. And I think that is a really, really wise way of putting it, because we can get in our ego and then get in denial, avoidance, escapism. And she would be like with Chiron, I think this might be a chance for us to really see whether we really want to hear it or not, things that we need to work on collectively that is going to better our planet in so many ways.
Well, and that shattering of the ego, when we as an individual get attached to small t truth, that's egoic, right? I have to believe this because that's what makes my ego feel safe or heard or seen or whatever. But Eris comes in and shatters all that and then says, okay, now let's go to capital T truth. And again, Jupiter going direct in Gemini, I think will help us with that.
That happens when March 3rd, 6th.
Is that what you've got? I've got your little chart up here on my
I
desktop.
just did mine, and I was going over it. I have to look at my chart. I
Yeah,
think it's March 6th or 3rd, but we've got that other eclipse coming up the
March
3rd
10th.
with
March
that's a
10th.
Leo. Oh,
Yeah.
that's this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
March 10th, Jupiter goes direct.
Yep,
And so that's what I'm saying is that momentum that forward momentum of Jupiter's expansion energy will help us to expand into the Gemini information. But again, what is the wisdom of that information you're gathering so that you can understand the capital T truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Discernment. I think that's
Absolutely.
huge. That's
That's a
huge.
great gift.
Yeah, yeah. So
It
yeah, he's
is.
my midheaven again. Sun, North Node, midheaven, Mercury are all right up there in that chart, and that Jupiter's been dancing over it while Uranus has been dancing over my moon.
So you got to watch your overdoing in the information, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, my nemesis for those who understand tarot is Seven of Cups. I want them all. And I have to remind myself, one here and one there. That's okay. You can have two. The other five will still be there, but just pick the two you can do today or tomorrow or next
that
week.
your hands can hold. The two that your hands can hold. And don't overdo it.
And that's Gemini, right? The twin.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
two hands, right?
Yeah. And then you can stay balanced because you'll have two.
Yep. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
So we will wrap this up. Let me see if our lovely crowd has any questions or anything before we go. If you have any other burning desires you want to share, Julie, or anything else you want to touch on, let us know.
Yeah, I would just love, and Maria, I'm sure would, haha, my last name, as well. Love to see more people in our constellational conversations. I think Heather will attest, we're very passionate about just creating the conversation. How are people navigating all of this out there, and just provide support, just a place to hang out and have the chat. I mean, you're offering these lovely opportunities, as are some of our other astrological colleagues, to have these live discussions. But when you can have a little bit of a round table with people who are trying to learn and make it accessible, I think that's the magic. So, yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Well, we don't have anybody popping in any questions or anything, so we will wrap this up. I thank you so much for coming and being a part of this today. I thank you so much. And Maria, too, I thank you for the constellational conversations. They have both been such wonderful, amazing guides and space holders for the past year and a half year. It's been a year now.
About a year. Yeah.
Through my half Uranus half return, and then also through what's coming to be my half nodal return with this half Uranus return. So this is an exciting time, and even with it falling this eclipse right on my south node. So I'm very grateful for you two as guides. You are such wonderful friends and sisters, and I just thank you for coming today.
Oh, thank you. So appreciate it. And thanks to those who have joined us live and those joining in the replay. Would love to see you in Radical Astrology or Cosmic Reflections on Facebook if that's your jam. Post questions, tag us, any of us. That's what it's there for.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for being here and being a part of this journey. I will wrap this up the way I normally do. Please remember to give yourself as much time, care, attention, and love energy as you so freely and so generously give to everyone else, because you matter. And I hope you know you matter. You deserve your love.
Yep.
You deserve your care. So I'm going to put this constellational conversations up one more time. I'm going to take us down, and then we got our outro. If you want to stay and hang out, you can, but you don't have to. It's up to you.
All right. I'll watch